Hey everyone, Mike Cosimano here for Destructoid, and I'm here to tell you guys about Bloodborne and Until Dawn, two games I saw back at PAX Prime 2014. I know it was a couple weeks ago, but I just got around to doing this now. And I think these games are still worth talking about, especially now that Bloodborne has been confirmed for North America. So excited. If you were worried about Bloodborne dumbing things down, don't be. This game is still as punishing and as unforgiving as Dark Souls was. But the things that made those games so great, the fact that the punishment was earned and you needed to be forgiven, well, that's still intact, at least from the demo I saw. You still have to watch out whenever you're attacking. The animation priority will bite you in the ass if you're not paying attention. And everything has a good weight to it. When you really connect with an enemy, you feel it. And when an enemy connects with you, you feel that as well, although not in quite the same manner. So you've got this new bladed weapon with Bloodborne that can become a polearm with the press of a button, and that's super useful. It's nice to have some range. But the thing that gives you the most range and the most interesting part of Bloodborne's combat is the gun. Yeah, there's a gun in this game. Enemies have guns too, but all their attacks are nicely telegraphed. You can get out of the way very quickly, and you don't have to worry about a thing if you're good enough. The game also looks really good, and it runs pretty well on the PlayStation 4. I never noticed any big frame rate drops, and it seemed to run at 60 the whole time. And that's a good thing, because that world looks incredible, and I want to see every single pixel. It's this drippy, gross, grimy Victorian London type thing with like these lumbering monsters wandering around, but they talk. Like that's one of the biggest things about Bloodborne, and one of the things I found the most interesting is that the enemies were talking to you. They were yelling at you and insulting you and taunting you. That's something you didn't really see as much in Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2 or Demon Souls or The Adventures of Cookie and Cream. That's just not there. So I see this as taking a step in the right direction regarding the way the story is told in these games. Now in Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and Demon Souls, and I don't know why I keep saying it in that order, but that's the way I keep saying it, in all those games, you had to really hunt for the story. You had to really search every nook and cranny of the world to find out what was going on, and that was never something I really cared all that much for. I like a story told to me because that suggests some kind of agency on the part of the author. You can better understand what they were trying to do if you actually see what they were trying to create. But to some extent, none of that matters because the core combat is still so good. It's still a lot of fun to mess around with things and try and attack enemies from different perspectives. And the gun and like the polearm, that adds a lot to it. So you have this already dynamic, compelling action system, and I say action in kind of a loose sense of the word, just rolling around a lot in these games. It's still fun to use and fun to explore, even if your failures are not fun. So yeah, that's what I think of Bloodborne. It seems really cool. I want to see more from this universe. I want to see more from Software, and I can't wait to get my hands on this game when it comes out next year. It's really exciting. Maybe my most anticipated of 2015, you know, unless Kentucky Route Zero finishes in that year, and then whoops! Sorry, Bloodborne. So the other game I want to talk about is Until Dawn, a game that was revealed at Gamescom a couple years ago. It was this Friday the 13th teen slasher type thing, you know, like those movies you go to, they're PG-13, high schoolers go to them and they want to cuddle up during the jump scares. It reminds me a lot of that. But the game we saw at Gamescom this year is a completely different animal. It's more of like a grounded, realistic Saw meets spooky ghost story meets I Know What You Did Last Summer meets You're Next. Actually, hold on. Let me pause for a second regarding You're Next. You're Next is fantastic. It's an excellent film. It's a thoughtful meditation on theatricality and family dynamics. It's also a really funny black comedy and also a kick-ass female empowerment action movie. It's definitely one of the best movies released in 2013, probably one of my favorite horror movies ever. I love it to death. You're Next is fantastic. Go see it. It's kind of divisive in some cases, but you might really enjoy it. You never know. Just go check it out. You're Next. It's probably nothing on Blu-ray right now. That movie deserves to be seen. Right, sorry, never mind. One of the producers on this game told me that Until Dawn has been reworked a little bit for a more grounded, realistic tone. And that doesn't make a lick of sense because there's a ghost in it and it goes, ooh, spooky time in your face. And there's a guy in a clown mask running around with a machete and he's gonna tie people to traps because he's evil, I guess. And there's like hauntings and poltergeists and spirits and whatever. Yeah, when I think realism, I don't think ghosts. What is grounded and realistic, however, and it's a terrible segue, is the way this game controls. Now, let's think of it like a PC game, right? You've got your WASD here, but if you want to move around like the cursor, then you have to move the controller. it's really weird to sort of marry these two regular control schemes together. Like motion, that's one thing. Analog, that's another thing. But putting them together really doesn't work, except for when you're solving puzzles. I think that works a little bit better, but it's weird to try and move around and then also like control your flashlight. It's not immersive, it's just a real pain in the ass. The game is running on the Killzone Shadowfall engine, which is fantastic because that game looked great and this game also looks pretty great, at least from what I've seen. Unfortunately, the dialogue isn't that great, so you have these really well animated characters with great faces and the actors are putting in a really good performance, but they're not saying anything good. It just seems kind of dumb, like very boilerplate, dull as dishwater slasher stuff. It's nothing new, it's nothing we haven't seen before. It feels like a holdover from the previous style the game had. So another thing this game has been touting is its choice system. You know, it's got branching paths, it's got different endings, there are a bunch of different things you can do to affect that ending. Like let's say you pick up a pair of rad sunglasses and you put them on, and then a butterfly flashes at the top of the screen to let you know that a choice has been made that'll affect the rest of the game. Now this could be cool, but I don't know that I want to play this game over and over, wrestling with the controls, going through the same jump scares, solving the same puzzles. If there was some kind of chapter select, or a way you could mess around with the decisions without having to play through the whole game over and over again, that could be really cool, and that would encourage me to keep going back to see all the different stuff. But it's not super well written, so I don't really know that I'd want to. So yeah, I guess that's the stuff I saw at PAX. Thanks to everyone who came out to the Destructoid meetup. I had a really good time meeting you guys. I hope I get to do that again next year. Thanks to everyone who just hung out with me or said hi. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that with you guys. And yeah, go to Destructoid.com. We got some TGS write-ups happening right now. Subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on my cell phone number. And love Bill Zoker always. Yeah. Bye, everybody.